Saitam Krishna Evam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanitanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Shri Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namaham Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Today, chapter number 6 of the Awakening of Spontaneous Devotional Service, written by Sri Ram Maharaj. Now, this chapter is taking on to a very transcendental platform that is a must before entering into the intricacies of our rasa, mellow, that whatever we have desire, which are locked up. But unless and until we follow a Brijavasi in one's Siddha Deha, nothing is going to be accomplished. So, here is the test that how much we can proceed. But understanding is one thing, and application is another thing. So, keeping in that mind, we should be humble in the state of our mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree and should be respectful for all others. Only in that state of mind we will have an unbroken meditative aspect of our internal nature of pure devotion, and we will be placed in a perfected accomplishment of both body, mind, and soul. That becomes very unified. That is called Siddha Deha. The following is the second of the 3 verses on practicing Raganuga Bhakti, which specifically elaborates on what it means to follow a Brijvasi. Rupa Goswami says, Seva sadhaka rupena siddha rupena chatra hi tad bhava lipsuna karya vraja lokanu sardataha. The translation is, the advanced devotee who is inclined to spontaneous loving service should follow the activities of a particular associates of Krishna in Vrindavan. He should execute service externally as a regulative devotee as well as internally from his self-realized position. Thus, he should perform devotional service both externally and internally. This is in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, 1st canto, 2nd chapters, 295th verse, cited in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, 22nd chapter, 158th verse. So, again, the foundational aspect of our entering into the internal bhajan, following a Brijavasi, is the advanced devotee who is inclined to spontaneous loving service should follow the activities of a particular associate of Krishna in Vrindavan. He should execute service externally as a regulative devotee as well as internally from its self-realized position. Thus, he should perform devotional service both externally and internally. A devotee is identified herein as possessed of two forms, sadhaka rupa and siddha rupa. If we are entering as a transit from material sadhaka platform to internal meditation of siddha or liberated rupa, even though both are existing in self, we can contemplate using both external and internal processes. The sadhaka rupa is the form which a devotee practices devotional serving, following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in order to realize siddha rupa as an associate of Radha and Krishna. So, it is everything very important that whatever we have learned so far, it is according to the guidance Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave and Rupa Goswami quoted in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, in the first canto especially. Now, the first canto, second chapter allows us to think internally that as if we are liberated. But why as if? Because it has to be constant thinking in that particular mode and follow that particular Brijavasi. You can't, you have to stop jumping here and there and become very settled in the meditation of the internal form of Siddha Rupa. So Sadhaka Rupa is the form in which Chaitanya, which a devotee practices devotional service following Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in order to realize his Siddha Rupa as an associate of Radha and Krishna. We may think, but we have not realized. If we are very steady in performing our daily promised 4 regulative principles in chanting 16 rounds minimum, with clarity and conformity to dive deep in our own internal position. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy will take us to realize what is our Siddha Rupa as an associate of Radha and Krishna. It cannot be artificially thought. Oh, I'm a very regulated chanter. Now let me thank myself following this particular. No, it is not direct. Siddha Rupa of a practitioner may be the form of a conditioned soul, of a liberated soul, or of an associate of Lord Chaitanya like that of Sanatana Goswami. This is to be understood very clearly. The sadhaka rupa of the practitioner may be in form of a conditioned soul or of a liberated soul or of an associate of Chaitanya Prabhu like Sanatana Goswami. It means even though if we are not liberated, but on the path of liberation, we are very busy in removing the anarthas, right? And trying to reach to the stage of nishtha with our external as well as internal resolve. External means we are very punctual in our sadhana, and internal means, yes, we want to get ready to take a deep within ourselves. So, a sadhaka rupa of the practitioner, either he is a conditioned soul of a liberated soul that is yet going to happen, or of an associate of Lord Chaitanya like that of Sanatana Goswami. Although they all look like and conduct themselves as practicing devotee, the first two are new to devotional service, while the third is eternally liberated. Means the sadhaka as well as the form that is going to be liberated in nishtha stage, they are practicing. They are not on the spontaneous level yet. Spontaneity start after rati, asakti, bhav, and prem. These are the four stages of the beginning of the real attraction to a particular type of service which is endowed to particular type of internal associate. But here, our 6 Goswamis are engrossed in Vrindavan. They are real Vrajvasis and follow in their footsteps. Many of us are liking Narottam Das Thakur and his power in meditating when we chant his songs. So that is the beginning. So again, understand this particular transit situation, that the sadhaka rupa of a particular or of the practitioner may be the form of a conditioned soul, of a liberated soul, or of an associate of Lord Chaitanya like that of Sanatana Goswami. Although they all look alike and conduct themselves as practicing devotees, the first two are new to devotional service, while the third is eternally liberated. It is their activities of practicing devotion and preaching that are common. Practicing and preaching, just like what we are doing right now. We may not know, but at least we are all practicing devotee who are given accessibility to understand how we are going to transit and where will be our internal following of a Brijvasi. And here, the eternal associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nitya Siddha Karimani. Chaitanya Sangi Sange Nitya Siddha Karimane Je Jaye Brajendra Sutta Pas. So, accepting the followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Nitya Siddha, who have given us all the literature to follow them. Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Jiva Goswami. Oh, so many have. Gopal Bhatta Goswami. All the 6 Goswamis are in their Siddha Deha, and they were the real Brijvasis. The Siddha Rupa of a realized spiritual form of a devotee, also known as his Swarupa. What is our Swarupa? Say Swarupa Siddhi. Jivera Swarupa Hoyer Nityara Krishna Das, Krishnera Tathastha Shakti Bhed Abhed Prakash. This is simultaneously Bhed and Abhed is continued before achieving Siddha Deha. So, we don't have to worry up to this point. We have accessibility to understand. But we can't rush and manufacture our Siddha Deha our own way without following in strict regulations and devotional service as Rupa Goswami has given us, Sanatan Goswami has given us. So, for Gaudiya Vaishnava, their Siddha Rupa is a Brajavasi in one of the 4 relationships explained in chapter 4 of this book. Means servitor, fraternal, paternal, and conjugal. We shall first study how both practicing and liberated devotees follow a Brijavasi in their Siddha Rupa. We are entering into a realm which we have not studied yet. So please pay careful attention in understanding Shivram Maharaj's explanations. In this verse, Srila Prabhupada translates Siddha Rupa as a body suitable for eternal self-realized service. Srila Prabhupada already simplified that what is Siddha Rupa? It is the body for eternal self-realized service. Means we are embarking on a devotional service. Now we have gone on a one-way track. You can't change the track, but you have to progress further on your track. Siddha Rupa as a body suitable for eternal self-realized service. Our self-realization must guide us towards our eternal service. And his self-realized position. 2 things. Self-realized service is eternal and self-realized position is also eternal. But the immediate sense of this translation should be that Siddha Rupa refers to the self-realized form of a devotee to his Swarupa. We should start humbly on the level of the Swarupa, then Krishna Nitya Das. We are in Krishna Tatastha Shakti. We have Bhed and Abhed, oneness and difference simultaneously in our existence. But we are supposed to transit from Abhed to Bhed. Then there will be unification. Whatever the differences that have to be mitigated. This is understandable when the Raganuga Bhakta is at the stage of Bhava, where he has realization of his eternal self-realized service. But how is it applicable when the Raganuga Bhakta is still at the stage of sadhana? We love Raganuga, but we are still at the stage of sadhana. After all, Raganuga Bhakti is defined as a branch of devotional service and practice. How then could a practicing devotee, a conditioned soul, have a self-realized position? What are the qualifications of this transitory stage from sadhana towards liberated and towards eternally situated following and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's associates? One must conclude that in context of sadhana bhakti, the word siddha can also be understood in another way. Fortunately, Srila Prabhupada gives that other understanding in another question to the same verse. This is the quote from Purport of Nectar of Instruction, verse 8. Please refer to that verse of Nectar of Instructions. Which is the verse of Nectar of Instruction? Anybody can pull out verse number 8. It was quoted before also.
Yes, he quoted several
Huh?
He quoted several times.
Okay. The Kamulahantri. Huh? Verse number 8. Tannama Rupa Charitadi Sukirtanano Smratyo Kramena Rasana Manasi Niyojya Tishtan Braje Tad Anuragi Jananugami Kalam Nayed Akhilam Iti Upadesha Saram. Translation. The essence of all advice is that one should utilize one's full time, 24 hours a day, in nicely chanting and remembering the Lord's divine name, transcendental form, qualities, and eternal pastimes, thereby gradually engaging one's tongue and mind. In this way, one should reside in Vrajagoloka, Vrindavan Dham, and serve Krishna under the guidance of devotees. One should follow in the footsteps of Lord's beloved devotees who are deeply attached to his devotional service. Srila Prabhupada writes, since the mind may be one's enemy or one's friend, one has to train the mind to become his friend. Krishna consciousness movement is especially meant for training the mind to be always engaged in Krishna's business. The mind contains hundreds and thousands of impressions, not only of this life, but also of many, many lives of the past. These impressions sometimes come in contact with one another and produce contradictory pictures. In this way, the mind functions can become dangerous for a conditioned soul. Students of psychology are aware of the mind's various psychological changes. In Bhagavad Gita, 8th chapter, 6th verse, Krishna says, Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajantyante kalevaram tam tam taveti kaunteya sadatad bhava bhavita. Whatever the state of one being one remembers when he quits his body, that state will attain without fail. At the time of death, the mind and intelligence of a living entity creates the subtle form of a certain type of body for the next life. If the mind suddenly thinks of something not very congenial, one has to take a corresponding birth in the next life. On the other hand, if one can think of Krishna at the time of death, he can be transferred to the spiritual world, Goloka Vrindavan. This process of transmigration is very subtle. Therefore, Srila Rupa Goswami advises devotees to train their minds in order that they will be unable to remember anything other than Krishna. Similarly, the tongue should be trained to speak only of Krishna and to taste only Krishna Prasad. Srila Rupa Goswami further advises, Tishtan Vraje, one should live in Vrindavan or any part of Vrajabhumi, or the land of Vrindavan is supposed to be 84 crores in area. 1 crore equals to 2 square miles. When one makes Vrindavan his residence, he should take shelter of an advanced devotee there. In this way, one should always think of Krishna and his pastimes. This is further elucidated by Srila Rupa Goswami in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, 1st canto, 2nd chapter, 294th verse. Krishnam smaranam janam chasya prishtham nija samhititam samihitam tat katha rataschasau kuryad vasam braje sada. A devotee should always reside in the transcendental realm of Vraja and always engage in Krishnam smaranam janam chasya prishtham, the remembrance of Krishna and his beloved associates. By following in the footsteps of such associates and by entering under their eternal guidance, one can acquire the intense desire to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Again, Srila Rupa Goswami states in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, 1st canto, 2nd chapter, 295th verse, Seva sadhaka rupena siddha rupena chatrahi tad bhava lipsuna karya vrajat lokanus sarataha. That we read, Maharaj is also quoting. In the transcendental realm of Vrajadam, one should serve the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna with a feeling similar to that of his associate, and one should place himself under the direct guidance of a particular associate of Krishna and should follow in his footsteps. This method is applicable both in the stage of sadhana, spiritual practice, executed while in the stage of bondage, and in stage of sadhya, God realization, when one is a siddha purusha or a spiritually perfect soul. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur has commented as follows upon this verse. One has not yet develop interest. One who has not yet developed interest in Krishna consciousness should give up all material motives and train his mind by following the progressive regulative principles, namely chanting and remembering Krishna and his name, form, quality, pastimes, and so forth. In this way, after developing a taste for such things, one should try to live in Vrindavan and pass his time constantly remembering Krishna's name, fame, pastimes, and qualities under the direction and protection of an expert devotee. This is the sum and substance of all instructions, Upadeshasaram, regarding the cultivation of the devotional service. In the neophyte stage, one should always engage in hearing Krishna Katha. This is called Shravana Dasha, the stage of hearing. By constantly hearing the transcendental holy name of Krishna and hearing of his transcendental form, qualities, and pastimes, one can attain the stage of acceptance called Varana Dasha. When one attains this stage, he becomes attached to hearing of Krishna Katha. When one is able to chant in ecstasy, he attains the stage of Smarana Avastha. Smarana Avastha or Smarana Dasha, the stage of remembering. Recollection, absorption, meditation, constant remembrance, and trance are the 5 items of progressive Krishna Smarana. At first, remembrance of Krishna may be interrupted at intervals, but later remembrance proceeds in uninterrupted. When remembrance is uninterrupted, it becomes concentrated and is called meditation. When meditation expands and becomes constant, it is called anusmriti. By uninterrupted and unceasing anusmriti, one enters the stage of samadhi or spiritual trance. After Smaranadasha or Samadhi has fully developed, the soul comes to understand his original constitutional position. At that time, he can perfectly and clearly understand his eternal relationship with Krishna. This is called Sampatti Dasa, the perfection of life. This is quite elaborate, and we should finish this understanding. Chaitanya Charitamrita advises those who are neophytes to give up all kinds of motivated desires and simply engage in regulative devotional service of the Lord according to the directions of the scriptures. In this way, neophyte can gradually develop attachment for Krishna's name, fame, form, qualities, and so forth. When one has developed such attachment, he can spontaneously serve the lotus feet of Krishna even without following the regulative principles. This stage is called Raga Bhakti, or devotional service in spontaneous love. At that stage, a devotee can follow in the footsteps of one of the eternal associates of Krishna in Vrindavan. This is called Raganuga Bhakti. Raganuga Bhakti, or spontaneous devotional service, can be executed in the Santarasa when one aspires to be like Krishna's cows, or the stick or flute in the hand of Krishna, or the flowers around Krishna's neck. In the Dasya Rasa, one follows in the footsteps of servants like Chitraka, Patraka, and Raktaka. In the friendly Sakhya Rasa, one can become a friend like Baladeva, Sridhama, Sudama. In Vatsalya Rasa, characterized by parental affection, one can become like Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda. And in the Madhurya Ras, characterized by conjugal love, one can become like Srimati Radharani or her lady friends such as Lalita, and serving maids, manjaris like Rupa and Rati. This is the essence of all instruction in the matter of devotional service. It is very nice to recollect these essentials. And we started this particular study by entering into the Shravana Dasha, Smarana Dasha, then which Dasha?
Shravana, Varana, Pramana, Varana, Smarana.
No, Smarana.
Shravana, Varana, Smarana.
It's other way.
Then some.
Shravana Dasha, then Smarana Dasha, then Varana Dasha, then Sampatti Dasha.
So Prabhupada in different places has described things slightly differently.
Yeah, a little bit. But when you constantly hear Shravana, you will remember that is Smarana. In Smarana Dasha, then you choose. When you have constant Smarana, then you choose to associate. That is Varana Dasha. You select your position under the tutelage. And when you are accepted in the service of that particular mode of a Brijavasi, it's called Sampatti Dasha. This is your belonging. So like that, am I correct, Haribol?
Hare Krishna, Gurudev. Hare Krishna, Gurudev. Says Shravana Dasa and then Varana Dasa. That is the stage of acceptance of whatever was heard in Shravana. And then the Smarana Dasa, which is the deeper stage of remembrance of what was heard and accepted. Then Bhava Apanna Dasa, the stage of
So
Bhava,
after
spiritual
Shravana,
ecstasy.
Varana is coming. I also read in Harinam Chintamani that spiritual master will guide and put in the Varana Dasha, that is the second stage, under the tutelage of some of the Brijvasis right away. But if it is not suitable, he may change and fix you in that particular position. We will try to find that reference.
That's there in the last chapter of Harinam Chintamani.
In the last chapter of Bhajana Pranali, there is it is said that we may reach by trial and error. There is nothing wrong in it. A spiritual master can do try and error. Right, like that. But nonetheless, the importance is that you must be fixed into the Smarana, Shravana, Varana, and Smarana Dasha. Then when it becomes constant, then Sampatti Dasha can be achieved under the associate of a Brijvasi. Right. So
one Prabhupada disciple said he was listening to Prabhupada speak about this verse, and at the end of reading the purport, Prabhupada said, and that will be me.
That will be me.
Yeah.
Prabhupada said.
Prabhupada said.
Yes. Naturally means the spiritual master.
Yes.
Who can guide that up to them? That's correct. All right. So, so we start with that paragraph. Fortunately, Srila Prabhupada gives that other understanding in another translation of the same verse. In the transcendental realm of Brajadham, one should serve the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna with a feeling similar to that of his associate, and one should place himself under the direct guidance of a particular associate of Krishna and should follow in his footsteps. This method is applicable both in the stage of sadhana, the spiritual practices executed, while in the stage of bondage, and in the stage of sadhya, God realization, then once a siddha purusha or the spiritually perfected soul. Then one becomes a siddha purusha or spiritually perfected souls. So think of this particular process. Meditate. This more elaborate translation of Siddharupa answers our question. In the case of a sadhaka, the Siddharupa refers to his aspiration or mentally conceived body, and only where the devotee has gone beyond the stage of sadhana is the Siddharupa or the realized spiritual form. Is it simply lost in the words? Haribol. We can meditate and try to contemplate on this particular passage, which is like a passport to having a visa to enter into the spiritual body.
Okay, as Sitaraja Prabhu says, it's
Huh?
clear. As Sitaraja Prabhu says, he understands.
What is this?
He said it's clear.
Eh?
He said it's clear. He understands. You said.
He understands. Good. Okay.
So basically, as a sadhaka, we have some taste, but not actual realization. Something like that.
The sadhaka is what?
Sadhaka is aspiration or mentally conceived body. But it means we have some taste for a particular service.
But it says a sadhaka may be neophyte or the beginner.
But at the stage of Raganuga, not a...
No. But beginner means, suppose if he has previous development in his previous life, he is going to begin from wherever he is going to live. So in our external sense, he may be a sadhaka or a beginner. But what is in the mind, how he is progressing, probably very fast towards the internal meditation.
Even perfected people like Prabhupada would recognize when they were...
Therefore, the pre-qualifying stage, it may be even in beginner. He might have, in the beginning, remember we had so much aspiration to devote our life, but when it becomes a routine, then a lot of obstacles starts coming.
Inspiration.
Yeah. So do you think that effervescence that has emerged in our beginning and acceptance of the four regulative principles and chanting 16 rounds without fail, in the beginning we are all generally inclined to be very regulated. So it is not simply an effervescent, but it is also to be considered that we must have this inclination in our last life.
in one place in Nectar of Devotion, it's described that a new devotee can also have pratibimba. They can reflect off a senior devotee who's near them. Like when people join the kirtan and they get all excited, it can be because of this pratibimba rag, but it's not constant yet.
Right. We see the devotees who are not familiar, but they come and visit while the kirtan is going on and they start impromptu dancing even.
Yeah.
They have some kind of inclination. It cannot be disregarded, but it has to be dealt that one must be very steady in his sadhana. So by practice, he will come to that stage of internal revival, what they call internal revival from the stage, and they can make further progress. But the procedure and the principles remains intact.
Lala Samay wants to make a comment.
What's up, Lal Samay?
Guru Maharaj, please, my humble obeisances. Guru Maharaj, I don't know, I missed the class or not. This Shravanam Dasya, Varanam Dasya, I'm first time hearing. I want to hear from you detail about what is
Shravana
this
Dasha,
Shravana Dasya, especially the Varana Dasya.
Varana, Smarana, Varana means acceptance of a tutelage. Varana Dasha. You choose whom to follow.
Okay, so we choose like Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada, this is the way, it's a right.
That's correct. You choose to follow. You hear, but you choose to follow. Many people are distracted, even they have been initiated in ISKCON, but they are distracted by acceptance of somebody else. You know, just like people are moving towards Premanand Maharaj. They are choosing him.
Okay, so Sampati Dasha is under the association of Rajavasi, mean like a
Sampatti means wealth. This is the real treasure.
Perfection.
Okay, protection. Okay.
Good?
Yes, Guru Maharaj, I got it. Thank you, Guru.
All right.
Janeshwara was there for a while. Janeshwara, did you want to say something? He's muted again. He unmuted.
No, Mataji, it's all good. I was just hearing. I just got lost. My link this country I connected again. That's okay. Carry on, Maharaj. This is all quite intense. I'm trying to internalize and digest. I think it takes some time to digest this.
Of course.
Now, Ujjwala.
Yeah.
Ujjwala Rasagya.
Yes, Mata.
Yeah, Gurudev. Pranams to you again, Gurudev. So, for a sadhaka, Shravanadasa is hearing, but for a sadhaka to come to Varanadasa, it means accepting what is being heard in order to get to the Smaranadasa. Then the sadhaka has to come to that point where there are no material attachments, because now he has to accept Varana Dasa. He has to accept what he's hearing. So he should be free of the material attachments so he can accept what he's hearing, so the Smarana can happen. So this is Nishtha. So no material attachments, steady.
I think Nishtha stage is being approached when our anarthas are minimized. Nishtha will be very unshakable. And in Nishtha stage, it is also understood that some lingering anarthas may be there, yet it is overpowering, and rest assured that they will be also removed. Just like Nishtha stage is a transit from material to spiritual existence, where the clouds of anarthas, they are being getting rid of, but you can see anarthas are also going away, and Nishtha is also entering. So that particular stage of Nishtha is a liberated stage, and rest assured, anarthas will be the residual anarthas, they call. They will be evaporated through rati and asakti.
Yeah.
So no more anarthas. You are in perfect liberated stage. But then the laulyam asakti is to be developed under the tutelage of your Yutheshwaris or Manjaris. These are all Yutheshwaris, Brijvasis. We go through Srila Prabhupada and liberated souls like our 6 Goswamis. They are Brijvasis, and they have perfected their lives in total absorption of Krishna. That is Sampatti Dasha. Sampatti means belonging. It is the real wealth. It belongs to us. Anyway, okay.
Yeah. Yes, Gurudev. So that's where the Varana Dasa is starting at the stage of Nishtha, and then it will proceed to Smarana, as you said. Yes,
Right.
Gurudev. Clear. Thank you. Thank you, Gurudev.
Constant remembering can only be in liberated state. Okay.
Thank you, Gurudev. Yes, please.
Mm. So let me reiterate and proceed further. Fortunately, Srila Prabhupada gives that other understanding in another translation to the same verse. In the transcendental realm of Braja, Brajadham, one should serve the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna with a feeling similar to that of his associates. And one should place himself under the direct guidance of particular associate of Krishna and should follow his footsteps. This method is applicable both in the stage of sadhana, spiritual practice executed while in the stage of bondage, and in the stage of sadhya, that is God realization, when one is a Siddha Purusha or spiritually perfected soul. So both practitioners means in the stage of bondage and stage of God realization. The more elaborate translation of Siddharupa answers our question. In the case of a sadhaka, the Siddharupa refers to his aspiration or mentally conceived body, and only where the devotee has gone beyond the stage of sadhana is Siddharupa and the realized spiritual form. Srila Prabhupada elaborates on what his mentally conceived body is. It encapsulates evaluating the conduct of a Vrajvasi and taking the role of his or her servant and sharing the similar feeling of love. In commenting on the following well-known verses, Jiva Goswami confirms that practicing devotee should fix their mind by engaging it in meditation. Jiva Goswami is telling that in Bhakti Sandarbha 317th verse, practicing devotees should fix their minds by engaging in meditation. He then goes on to say that the word sneha or affection refers to the sadhak's attraction towards raga. This affection is what Srila Prabhupada paraphrases as feeling similar to that of his associate. That is called sneha. We also use this word sneha before prema.
That's different uses.
Yeah. Sneha means two people with similar inclination are attracted and showing the feelings towards each other. It's called sneha. Tasmad vairānubandhena nirvairena bhayena va snehad kamena va yunjat kathanchena nekshate prathak. Therefore, by enmity, or by devotional service, or by fear, by affection, or by lusty desires, by all these of any of them, if a conditioned soul somehow or other concentrates his mind upon the Lord, the result is the same for the Lord because of his blissful position is never affected by enmity or friendship. This is this in Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 1st chapter, 26th verse. The position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead remains unaffected by all different so-called bhavas of a devotee. Snehad kramena va yunjat. The concept of a mentally conceived identity is further supported by another verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, wherein Narad calls the absorption in such devotion manha aveshya, absorption of mind, which Srila Prabhupada translates as context, as I shall now explain how one receives Krishna's mercy simply by concentrating one's mind upon him. This is also given in Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 1st chapter, 30th verse. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also tells Sanatana Goswami, if one wants to engage in spontaneous loving service, he must follow the inhabitants of Vrindavan and constantly engage in devotional service within his mind. This is also in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, 22nd chapter, 159th verse. In the context of the practitioner, Siddha Rupa, when indicates an identity conceived of in the mind which expresses a feeling or affection one has for Ragatmika Bhakti, it is not a realized transcendental identity. It's a desire, but it has to manifest. What do you think? Should we repeat? because this is little long chapter, and we must study, because this is a new ball game for us. Hello?
Yes, Guru Maharaj. It's better we may to just go through it again and review. And
this is only partial, 1/3 of a chapter, because there is a lot of bombardment in usage of the words, and we'll be confused where to fit in.
Aparajita and Ujjvala Rasagya say yes, please repeat.
What's that?
Aparajita and Ujjvala Rasagya say please repeat.
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 Good. Tomorrow.
Yeah. Ganesh process.
The time is up.
Yeah, time is up.
So even though immature, doesn't matter. Everybody has accessibility. But those who are regulated in practice, in this group, one should not pop out all of a sudden without properly communicated identity. At least I should have known them personally, interacted with them personally. One who has remained impersonal so far should not peep into this matter. How can I accept an unfamiliar person? I cannot reciprocate. I have to start from the very sketch. Can we do it tomorrow again?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. Yes, Maharaj. As you said, this is like a foundational aspect that we need to understand properly so that
Thoroughly.
we can move on. Thoroughly. Yes, Maharaj.
We have not touched the in-depth understanding. We have touched these subjects very superficially, because even Harinam Chintamani would not describe further. So this is a very important subject matter, and if we are thoroughly acquainted with this bhajan pranali, how to continue the internal bhajan, and what are the prerequisites, where are we, and how we can make a progress in that line. Everything is needed. So those who are attending, I consider all of you are advanced and must enter. Those who have developed little greed to enter into the subject matter, laulyam, this greed is the primary qualification, and please remain greedy, so you can push me further.
Okay, one question on Vidyanath.
Other
people are just saying yes, but she's asking a question.
constantly engage in devotional service within the mind. Yes. When you try to remember constantly, that is the engagement of the mind. Our verbal and physical verbal activity in chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra is only in a minimum time framework in our regulated, say, 2 hours. But the mind should be engaged 24 hours. So whatever you do must end up as service to Lord Krishna. And that mood you can develop further in a purified state when you will realize that you are Krishna's eternal servant and you achieve towards your Siddha Deha, means liberated form, without any attachment. Then you will be able to chant constantly. Kirtaniya Sadahari. Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. That existence, that I am nobody, but a kept maid servant. Whose maid servant?
That's what we have to find out.
Before approaching Radharani directly, you have to approach the Sakhis. But before approaching Sakhis, you have to approach Manjaris. And before approaching the Manjaris, there are Alis and Sakhis. And oh my God. So you can imagine, why do we put Ashtottara Shata 108. Some sampradayas also add up 1008. But these are the actually association. You have to stand in the line under the tutelage of those Sakhis and Alis. Whosoever devotional service you become attached to, you have to become their follower first. That is, you choose to follow. Then you meditate on their type of devotional service, their mood. You can emulate, what is called, absorb, and it becomes your sampatti finally, assets that you know by authorized people what you are practicing. And Krishna will say, yes, I will accept you because you have been accepted by one of my confident servants. Like that. Krishna does not say, if you say, I'm Krishna's, Krishna says, no, he is not mine. Unless he has been introduced by somebody, a pure devotee, Krishna accepts. That is the way we started with the initiation also. Because our predecessor Acharya accepted, he is a pure devotee of the Lord. Therefore, we must be able to approach Lord Krishna. Otherwise, on our own, without anybody's help, you can't reach. So let's study tomorrow again. I hope with a clear understanding, more clearer than today. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.